This is the last book in the universe, chapters 26, 27, and 28. Chapter 26. The Bean is Back. 3 days after they injected her with the new and improved genes, my little sister Bean gets her own personal future. I'm there when it happens. At first, I don't notice anything different. I'm sort of staring into the glass coffin thing that's keeping her barely alive, thinking about stuff from when we were both little. Stupid stuff that wouldn't mean anything to anybody but me or Bean, like the time Charlie caught her feeding crumbs to the rats behind our unit, and she acted all surprised that he was upset and told him rats are people too. Charlie demanded to know where she got such a crazy idea, and she said, "From you, Daddy." Because, see, Charlie was always calling people rats. That's when poor old Charlie realized his 4-year-old daughter was a whole lot smarter than he was, and on her way to being smarter than anybody else in the herb, period. Anyhow, there I am looking right at her and remembering stuff so hard that at first I don't even notice that she's staring back at me. Her eyes are open and she's looking at me, and not with dead or unconscious eyes either. She's really looking hard, like she's trying to figure out what I'm thinking. And what I'm thinking is that I must be dreaming and dreading that any second I'll startle myself awake and Bean will still be in the long sleep or worse. But I'm not dreaming. It's true. The Bean is back. I must have yelled or cried out because everybody comes running. Ryder and Linnea and Jen and the med techs who gave her the injections, they're almost as excited as I am. The med techs because they didn't know if the gene therapy would work, and the others because they know how much Bean means to me. The med techs lift up the glass cover of the coffin thing. It's not like Bean is suddenly strong enough to get up or anything. She's really weak, barely able to raise her hand and touch my face, but I don't care. 5 minutes ago, I thought she was a goner, and now she's back alive and whispering that she had the weirdest dream. "I dreamed we went to Eden," she says. "Isn't that strange?" "We did," I tell her. "We're here, and you're getting better." Suddenly, I feel really bad about being so borked off with the proofs. If it wasn't for Linnea and her people, Bean would be dead for sure. Maybe some of them hate normals and wish we'd disappear, but they saved my little sister, so they can't be all bad. Nobody looks happier than Ryder. The old geese is grinning so hard I'm afraid his last few teeth will fall out. His whole face is smiling, including his eyes, and he wraps his spindly arms around my shoulders and gives me a hug that takes my breath away. "You did it, boy!" he exclaims, wheezing with excitement. "You risked your life for a fair maiden, and now she lives. Oh, what a wonderful story! I can't wait to write it down. Do you realize what you've done? You've given me a happy ending." But the proofs saved her, not me, I remind him. "And besides, it was your idea to come to Eden." Ryder shakes his head. It's as if his ancient, watery gray eyes can see all the way inside me. "Oh, yes, we helped along the way, Linnea and me, and even Littleface, but it was you who started the journey, son. None of this would have happened if you didn't have the courage to imagine it first." He's obviously zoomed, but I don't have the heart to tell him so. I know who the real hero is, and it isn't me or even the brave Linnea. It's an old man with a white beard and a walking stick and a heart so big it won't let him stop thinking he can change the world by writing things down in a book that no one will ever read. Not long after Bean wakes up from the long sleep, Jen has a whispery conversation with Linnea. They both look worried. "As soon as your sister can be moved, we'll have to leave the prime," she tells me later, keeping her voice down. "People are talking." She doesn't have to explain about people talking. She means the word is spreading that a ragged band of normals have been allowed into Eden, which may or may not be forbidden depending on who interprets the rules. So the longer we stay at the primary laboratory, the more proofs become aware of our presence. But she's not all the way better, I remind her. She can barely walk, and she still doesn't want to eat. I know, Linnea says, patting my shoulder. Don't worry, we'll still take good care of her, but in my own spaces, away from prying eyes. So the very next day, we all leave the prime and return to the incredible place that Linnea calls home. Bean doesn't remember being there, of course, and she's at least as amazed as I am by the rooms that change scenes according to your mood. She's still pretty weak and can't stand up for long without feeling dizzy, but she wants to know how everything works. And when Linnea explains, Bean seems to understand, which means she's way ahead of me. It's a logical extension of the interactive cybernetic intelligence, Linnea tells her. A computer that can project itself into a three-dimensional landscape. Of course, these are only holoscapes, illusions. Bean's eyes are so bright they could light the dark. I used to pretend something like this, she says, gazing in wonder at the purple mountains and green valleys of a holoscape called Montana. I'd lie on my sleeping mat and imagine that I was in a completely different world. What kind of world? Linnea wants to know. A world without walls, Bean says. A world where you can go outside without being afraid. You're describing Eden, says Linnea. I guess, Bean says, but I meant the herb. What it would be like if everything hadn't been destroyed, if people stopped hurting each other and grew things instead. All those green things out there. Grass and trees. It sounds so lovely, so peaceful, Bean says dreamily. Grass and trees. Linnea takes Bean by the hand and leads her to a window. That isn't a holoscape, she says, pointing. Those are real trees, real grass. Bean looks outside for a long time and then sighs deeply. It's beautiful, but it might as well be a holoscape, she says. Linnea looks at her curiously. Why is that? She asks. Because we can't stay here, Bean says. Can we? When I'm better, you'll send us back to the gray concrete and the acid rain and the latch gangs. Linnea stares at the grass and the trees and then looks from Bean to me. Her eyes are shiny and fierce. Not if I can help it, she vows. Ooh. So what are we thinking? Do you want to make a prediction about what Linnea means when she says, not if I can help it? Why did Bean say that the outside, the real trees, the real grass, it might as well be a holoscape? It's not real to Bean. Why? And how does it make you feel hearing her say that?